we are going to make a press release within the week, still on the Stubb Creek. We've done one or two already, but there is something that bothers us, and we call it here, the dangers of misguided articles and press releases on Stubb Creek umbriglio. We call it umbriglio. Yes. And what do I mean? A number of people have taken upon themselves to write articles. Some of these articles are born out of their either personal grievance or personal interest or ignorance or kind of propaganda, or trying to show that, yes, they can contribute to very serious discourse. Whereas some people that are, like people say, certified errats, they don't go there. There are certain topics that you can't go near. And if you go near it, you must be armed. But on the Stubb Creek, we personally monitored certain write-ups, including even press releases from people in government, and that bothers us. We can't address everything here, but I want to acknowledge that we've seen a rejoinder by the political advisor to the governor, Prince Godwin Togode, Doctor, on the defamation and cultural desecration and unwarranted invocation against Governor of Akwa Ibom State by Princess Godson Udoito. And we want to say, yeah, yes, the political advisor has right to air his views, but we shall address certain issues raised there, because we cannot leave the main issue to dwell on the side attractions. Very technical things. We will address it in our press statement, very brief. We also have seen write-ups by Emmanuel Nicholas, abolishment of native law, land ownership, and how Donsak amended the Land Act to threaten Governor Omoino by Emmanuel Nicholas, and went political to try to bring in 2027 general elections. We will address it. We've seen something from Mr. Kedugu Government Council, which have called for calm. We've also seen Kwandi Obogodo, issues on statutory commendation of Kwai State government. We have seen Upumete Unity Association, and then we did our own. We've seen APU press release. We've seen Ultimatum. We share the same platform on Radar. He made a statement that I couldn't react to, and I'm still troubled till today, and followed up with an article thereafter. He wrote on the Radar platform on the 15th that Samuel Donsak and Danabia should also be taken and questioned. They are guilty of incitement and disturbance of public peace. I'm quoting exactly what he wrote. After Godson Udoito was arrested, he directly pronounced guilt on Udonsak. Udonsak actually responded in a way, but to have a citizen direct for the arrest of a fellow citizen, despite the fact that police had already given invitation, and pronouncing them guilty, and then following up with a press an article which makes EPU to be a militant group is something we need to address. Just like the press release from the Office of the Attorney General on the real legal status and certain things that have been said there. It is dangerous if people have facts and refuse to speak out. Society will be destroyed for the silence of those that know, not for those who don't, but want to say something. So we'll do our best. We're not sponsored. It's very challenging. We're multitasking, but definitely we'll just keep doing our best. If you cannot run, we will walk. If you can't walk, we will crawl. And crawling is what we are doing. Imagine if we are able to walk. We will do much more. So expect our press statement. We cannot attack people. Leave issues to attack people. More so when people are not even armed with information, or when people want to simplify any complex matter. They come with a very simplistic answer. It doesn't happen that way. We will not allow it. We will just make our points of view known. Having said that, I want to call our brother, who is I don't know which state, maybe Federal Capital Territory or wherever he is now, Tija Bolton, to join us on the program so that we can hear what his organization has to say about the Stubb Creek when it has to do with the policy that it is a reserve and how our reserves handle. It's ringing. I'm sure he's going to join us soon. Sorry. Okay. Good morning, my brother, Comrade Tija Bolton.
Hi, good morning.
So good to have you. Thank you so much. Where am I speaking with you from? Abuja or Lagos or Dubai?
No, from the Canaan city of Calabar.
Really? You are back to Canaan land. That is great. I'm trying to, yes. So, you have an organization now that you call Save Stubb Creek Campaign. Am I right?
That's correct.
So, tell us a bit about what has given rise to you leading this campaign.
All right. First, you know that my primary designation is Director of Policy Alert.
Yes.
Which is an organization that's focused on ecological and economic justice, especially in the United States.
Yes.
And we have been doing a lot of work in terms of energy transition effort and environmental conservation work across the Niger Delta. Also come across a serious concern which had to do with one of the last remaining mangrove systems within the Niger Delta. That is the Stubb Creek
Forest Reserve. Yes.
So this forest reserve was designated as such as far back as 1930 by the colonial government. And the whole idea of designating an area as a forest reserve comes from the clear recognition of the environmental needs of not just the present generation, but also future generations. In fact, generations yet unborn.
Yeah.
So, for the colonial government to have designated that area as a reserve is not something to be taken lightly, even within the context of current industrial and infrastructural development efforts. So we noticed, in fact, one of the first acts of aggression against the sanctity of this reserve area was when the superhighway was constructed, or rather, an effort to construct a superhighway across it happened some years ago. After that, we also had the Boa refinery. So the refinery was approved by the federal government. The Akwa state government gave its consent for actions to be taken within the precincts of that forest reserve.
Yes. Hello. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
These developmental actions, quote and unquote, by government and private sector entities have amounted to stressors on the ecosystem, on the vibrancy and integrity of that ecosystem. And as such, as people who have taken it upon ourselves to protect the environment for future generations, we thought it was important to raise our voice. Government does a very important duty to society by ensuring that developments happen. However, it's important for government to weigh, the different sides of the coin, in terms of how development actually impact, different dimensions.
Yeah.
There is the social dimension, there is the economic dimension, there is also the ecological dimension. So when all sides of the prism are not considered in development effort, then it's possible to be covered for development to become counterproductive.
Okay, before you go on, hello, comrade. Before you go on, you listed the acts of aggression, the superhighway, which is a Kwai version, talking about the one Udom Emmanuel started in 2017, and then the Boa, Tolkien, and thereabout. But I want to add the latest one so that I will ask you another question. The coastal highway, which you have noted, one of your concerns that the coastal highway can be rerouted, but environmental impact will be irreversible. You are aware that so far, even the governor has said it, that the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway is to pass through the Stubbs Creek. And I read that the EIA was conducted before routing it through there, but it's to happen. I want you to give us, you are not a lawyer, but you are very well informed. Is there a procedure to de-reserve any area, any part of a reserve before it can be used for any project, like it was done in the case of Mobile? Are you aware if there was a de-reservation to accommodate any of these other projects, the Boa, the superhighway, and the coastal highway? Are you aware if there was a de-reservation in accordance with the law?
Yes. As far as I know, and as at the moment we're speaking, no such reservation is within the public domain. No such notice of de-reservation is within the public domain. What is happening is, you're right that the laws, the reservation laws of Akwa require that such a de-gazettement, or rather a de-reservation of an area like that should be pursued before any infrastructure or industrial project happens within it. It has not happened further. However, the body language and even the public statement of government at the highest level in Akwa Ibom presupposes that there is an intention to the coalition is that it is not in the best interest of development, whether for current or for future generations, to pursue de-reservation. In any case, for you to pursue de-reservation, it's important for that process to be, for the gazettement to be process-led. So there's going to be free, prior, and informed consent. There's going to be meaningful public participation, so that different sectors of the society, especially the affected community, are part of the conversation. And that conversation needs to be thorough, far-reaching. What we are seeing is that there is a very tight timeline for the delivery of the coastal highway project that will not provide a sufficient window for such, deep and extensive public participation that will lead to the decision to de-reserve that area. You don't just wake up overnight and say, I want to de-reserve. No. Government holds resources, whether they are financial resources, whether they are ecological resources like the forest reserve in question. These resources are held in trust, not just for the current generation, but also for generation yet unborn.
Okay.
So if you want to dispose of such resources, you need to consult the people. You need to ask questions. You need to interrogate perspectives and sensitivities widely, so that you accommodate those sensitivities in that decision making.
Okay.
That clearly hasn't happened.
Yes.
That clearly cannot happen within the window of these infrastructural, efforts of the Lagos Calabar.
Thank you for that very insight. The insight you have given is adding more pressure on the conversation. What I mean is that already we are not talking about the communal issues, because even the press release by government says that land called is almost a no man's land. It belongs to the federal government, I mean to the state government, which we're not going there. But looking at what you've said, that the time frame, the AIA was not done, and we are hearing that it's going to be done in January, and you've said it does not give the proper time frame. Your organization has also recommended that the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway be rerouted. I want to find out from you, what would be your recommendation besides the... I have a copy of your press statement here, and you are very clear on certain issues, but being live here and being watched all over the world on our various platforms, we're going to even expand this conversation further. What would be your recommendation? Go to the community aspect-based crisis. Go to the law, how a reserve can be used, whatever portion. Government has not honored it. What would be your recommendation to the government so that we don't keep running on the wrong route and rely on, you have to respect the office, you have to respect the person, whatever government says is right. Your take.
Right. So government has power, no doubt about that. And we stated it clearly in our statement that the powers, to the administrative control of the Top Creek Forest Reserve lies within the ambit of the Akwa state government. There is no negation of that clearly documented power that the Akwa state government has. However, powers of government are not held so that they can be discharged arbitrarily. We have power, like I mentioned earlier, even power in trust, or to be dispensed on behalf of the people. And if that power is exercised in a manner that is detrimental to the social or ecological aspirations of the people, then that power has clearly been misused. Now, what our coalition is doing is that the federal government clearly has alternative. The Environmental Impact Assessment Act of 1992 requires that there should be an EIO, in fact, an ESI, that is Environmental and Social Impact Assessment of any sort of projects before it is done, right?
Yes.
Now, we have had EIAs for the other part, the Section 1 and 2 of the Coastal Highway, right? So
yes.
Why are we not having an EIA for this section? We hear that the EIA just started a few weeks ago. So why don't you wait for the EIA to be completed before you undertake, this project? That's one of the big questions on the table. So the other part of the question which you broach on has to do with the social aspirations of the people.
Yes.
You cannot use power in a manner that impacts negatively on communities, especially individual communities, and expect that there will not be fallouts.
That's right.
So, one of the points we're making in our statement is that the Akwa state government owes it to the indigenous communities that are historically associated with that reserve to engage with them thoroughly. There has been no such thorough engagement. In 2017, we saw that the project was done, there was no engagement. When refinery came, the engagement was shallow at all. And then right now we are having the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, there is also zero engagement. So what we are saying is that absent such participatory decision making, such thorough engagement with the community, so that the rights of these people, the safety of these communities are taken into cognizance in decision making, then we're actually running the risk of doing such a project against the interests of this community.
That's right.
And development goes beyond, development is not just about physical infrastructure, it's also about environmental sustainability, it's about climate resilience and justice, it's about social stability, the fragility of this community has not really been taken into consideration in most of the comments we're hearing
Yes.
from government. And that is the bigger issue on the table right now. But beyond even the ecological resilience of that ecosystem, we are also looking at a situation where 10, 20, 50 years, even 100 years down the line, we're going to have huge issues, that border on the social and cultural. And these are the things that make development sustainable. If you don't deal with those dimensions, whatever highway you build, whatever refineries you build, they are all going to be jeopardized with due course.
I want to thank you so very much because you, as a social justice crusader, you have touched on the issue of the community because we in Open Forum, we are very concerned. That's why we have promised to come out with a press statement regarding certain press releases and comments by individuals and even government which are not in tandem with even some of the even common sense and law. We try to help leaders. We've had a situation where leaders will say, I was misled. We do not want His Excellency to be misled in any way because we have informed citizens who are also courageous. We run what we call Open Forum, a global community, coalition of the bright and the brave for a better society. So talking about that community, we will continue this conversation on some other issues about community. Already we came out on our first edition with the press letters from government which showed that compensation for land acquired for mobile was actually paid to community. We also have insight that for the Boa investment, negotiations were being made with community. Then fast forward to 2026, we are hearing that the Stubb Creek belongs to the Okwara State government and it's the no man's land. And we have seen a press release from somebody from Ngbo. They are claiming that they own maybe own portion of Stubb Creek, even though to claim Stubb Creek, Eseleked and Eked are just one. So this conversation will continue because we are going to help leaders and it will be recorded for posterity that people like you and I and others tried to bring possible solutions to the table. Before I'm going to open the phone lines for maybe one or two calls, I want you to reiterate the dangers of not just fragmentation of the Stubb Creek Forest Reserve. What would be the real dangers if that area is open to the kind of investment that we are seeing that may end up taking over 310 square kilometers of reserve has now been reduced to I don't know what yet. What are the real dangers ahead if the de-reservation and more so reckless de-reservation continues? Yes, sir.
Right. So I'd like us to look at it from the perspective of cumulative impacts, right?
Yeah.
So like you rightly mentioned, there have been previous developmental efforts across the Stubb Creek. We had the superhighway initiative and then the Boa refinery now did. What we are saying is that beyond the single project impacts of each of these projects, there is also going to be a whole lot of the Stubb Creek ecosystem. So what we are proposing is that the federal government actually rewrote the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway away from this forest reserve.
Okay.
The Ministry of Environment should insist on a completed, publicly accessible environmental and social impact assessment, before we can turn around.
Thank you. Let's see if we can just get. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, to get to your point, the Stubb Creek Forest Reserve is part of a wider Niger Delta mangrove ecosystem. The Niger Delta mangrove have been designated as on the reserve list of the UNESCO start globally. Now, the Stubb Creek Forest Reserve actually configures to this nautical system. And what we are saying is that any impacts on the Stubb Creek is actually going to ripple off on the rest of the broader mangrove ecosystem across the Niger Delta.
Yes.
This will create impacts such as rising sea level, coastal erosion, salination, flooding, and general ecosystem collapse. Loss of species. A lot of species that are found in this area are actually threatened or even endangered species that are in the IUCN.
Awesome. Let's see if we can just have one caller. The number to call is 0803 085 7755, or you call 0809 066 6909. We want to see if we can just have somebody chip in his idea, because this program is about people, it's about issues, ideas, and solutions. I must thank you because, okay, we have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, are you there?
Joe, this is calling from you.
Okay, go ahead. You have 30 seconds, please.
I just want to say this. I want to plead with everybody. I know in this program, you invited a lot of people to, they came and talk about how Governor Oriama, they wanted to be the seaport.
Yes.
Because of name. And they have to petition everywhere.
Yes.
And they now remove that seaport left Akagum State. Now they are battling to build seaport again. This well, I need to pass here. We know that going to Lagos through bus is very difficult. Because
Are you talking about seaport or are you talking about Stubb Creek?
I'm talking about Stubb Creek. What I'm talking about, they should give it. It's not going to take, it's not a rail line. Rail line cannot swallow the whole forest of 300 kilometers. Just a pathway. So they should just allow government to at least...
Okay, thank you. We get your point. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We've gotten your point. The reality is that it is not possible to... can you just take 20 seconds? Round up your thought in 20 seconds. We're out of time. Yes.
So I was saying that, yes, I agree with those who feel that development is important, and yes, development is really important. We are not opposing development. We need to be very clear about this. What we are opposing is the kind of development that will leave the effect on the communities and on the ecosystem.
Yes.
So we are saying that there are globally accepted ways of proceeding with infrastructural development. Those global standards
have not been followed.
Have not really been taken.
Thank you. Because of time, we have to run. We'll try and bring you back again. Thank you so very much, Comrade Tija Bolton-Akpan, Executive Director of Policy Alert and the National Coordinator of Safe Stubb Creek Campaign. Thank you. We invite you once again. Yes, our time has run out, and I want to say that the brand I called, Oron people were not the one that drove investors away from the Ibom Deep Sea Port. We've addressed this, and someday we'll address this again. So it's misleading to use that. And then there's a protocol. Government cannot do things arbitrarily. There are procedures to be followed. Next week, we are going to continue on this series, and we're going to take on the tax single treasury account of.
Hold on.